Welcome back to the Eastern Business Report. I am Cherry Ojukwu. The Southeast Development Commission was established with a very clear, critical mandate to drive infrastructure and economic recovery across our region. However, just as the Commission is expected to hit the ground running, it is already facing serious questions about financial transparency. Yesterday, the Senate Committee on the SEDC intensified its oversight, ordering the Commission's Managing Director, Mark Okoye, to account for an alleged mismanagement of a 16.6 billion naira budget. The figures raised during the investigative hearing are startling, including 153 million naira reportedly spent on renting a single-room liaison office in Abuja, and another 2.5 billion naira vaguely categorized as implied expenditure. To help us analyze the implications of these figures and what this means for the institutional trust of this new regional agency, I am joined by Mr. Alex Ogbodo, Head of News and Current Affairs, Afia TV and Radio. Mr. Alex, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Cherry. Thank you.
Right, so let's watch what transpired at the National Assembly yesterday during the Senate Committee hearing on SEDC session before we go ahead.
And members, we could have just said this money is sitting here and X amount has been spent. But this clarity, what we have just done, and if you allow me go through, you will understand the projects and the programs that we are about to implement, and we are going to do it jointly. I will do it on TV. No. Can we start from page 17? No, but I have other questions. My senator has asked me questions on the 250 recruitment. No, there are questions from me. I'll just start self-operated. Page 17. Good. So no, but you know why I said this? Mr. Chairman, sir, permission to explain on one or two days, because the last time we were here, there was a question which I did not address, and the media put a spin on it. And there's so I want to explain and address. Not allow you to ask like there is, but all. There has to be total break 70 of the So I should not explain the office issue, and I should not explain the recruitment issue. People do not pay 7 years old or 3 regulars. I did not wait for them who said and asking them. We never want to find reasons in front of it. No, not distinguished. I'm appealing because there is media here. And they will hear questions and they come straight to what is your page 17. Yes, because my question is if you got a very good explanation,
and we've seen that. So, Ms. Alex, the SEDC recently established to drive infrastructure and economic recovery in our region, but we are already seeing allegations of a mismanaged 16.6 billion naira budget. What was your initial reaction to this Senate?
Well, let's put it in perspective. They've only spent about 3-point-something billion. They have not finished their money, because what's flying all over the place, that 16 billion has been blown. I think this is what I noticed. I think our people just love cruise, just love sensational headlines. They said he stole money, and then everyone focuses on that. We have more serious problems in Nigeria. I think that the Senate Committee on Southeast Development Commission are playing to the gallery. And I'll give you an instance. The last time they presented their budget, it was Senator Nwoye that picked on the MD CEO of the Southeast Development Commission and started arguing why he hasn't built schools and why he hasn't built this. All right, so the whole idea of the Southeast Development Commission is well known to the Senate Committee on SEDC. There is nothing they have done in the SEDC that Ojus Okalo does not know before it happens. So all this coming out to the TV and be sounding like Donald Trump on TV, I don't think it makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me, because from the response Mark gave, there is nothing happening in the SEDC that they don't know about. So except there is something they want to say but they haven't said, let them say it. Because I don't quite get what it is. This is the only commission that is always on TV, under scrutiny. You have Southwest Development Commission, you have North Central Development Commission, you have the Niger Delta Development Commission. It's only the Southeast Development Commission when they go to the National Assembly. Members that are supervising their own committee will be blowing hot, pouring out molten ash, volcanic ash and molten magma on their own kinsmen just to make headlines, just to look like they're doing the work. What's that? What's that? So what do you want the SEDC to do? You approved the establishment of the commission. It passed through the National Assembly. You have the line items establishing the Southeast Development Commission. So why do you come in the middle of the game? You now want the Southeast Development Commission to start operating like a petroleum trust fund, that their duty is to come and start patching roads, start building poultry houses for people. Their duty is to get the Southeast into a development momentum. Their duty is not to come and start building small things in places. Because if they start intervening the way the people want, they will go at daggers drawn with the state governors. So I don't actually envy the work Mark has now, because there's always the way we expect those holding public office to operate in the Southeast. And that's why go and look at the Facebook and X pages of our governors. They are always being insulted by their own people. Go and check it. Governor tells you, we've just flagged off a 5-kilometer road there. I say, is it only 5 kilometers you're going to do? There's always dissent, unnecessary dissent, whenever it comes to matters concerning the Southeast. I'm asking a question here. Why is it that we are the senators overseeing Northwest Development Commission, we don't hear them shout at their own people the way they were yelling at Mark yesterday, as if the heavens have come down? And I'm repeating it. There is nothing happening in the Southeast Development Commission that the Senate Committee on Southeast Development Commission is not aware of before it happens. Senator Ojukwu says that he spoke to the central bank, that they know what their balance is. Okay, you know all that. So what's the point, really? What's the point, really? They have a mandate to do this and to do that. So their duty is not to patch the roads in the Southeast. Their duty is to complement the activities of the state governments, but at the regional level. But everybody wants them to have something on the ground immediately. They were just set up. They are trying to come off the ground, but everybody wants results. But the people demanding those results are not delivering results in their own fields. I think it's hypocritical.
So this commission is supposed to be the primary vehicle for our regional economic integration, like you mentioned. So if the foundational budget is already under this much scrutiny, can the SEDC still fulfill its mandate?
It can still fulfill its mandate. So I think it was last year or early this year, the Southeast Development Commission held a stakeholders event, about 3 days. Everybody was supposed to say what they wanted to see in the SEDC, including the Southeast governors. They were all there. They were all represented. All the governors were present. They gave speeches as to the direction they want things to go. Even senators were invited. The Senate Committee on SEDC, we didn't see them. They didn't make any input. I did not see them. I was there. So they can't say they don't know what the commission is doing. Yes, you can have questions about how much they have spent on things. It's your duty. Please, they should go and do their oversight. And I don't want to be quoted out of context. They have to do their oversight. But I'm saying you must do it with sincerity of purpose. And I am saying that I do not believe that the Southeast Development Senate Committee on Southeast Development Commission, they are doing this work with sincerity of purpose. That's my point. The Southeast Development Commission, they have a lot of work to do. And the responsibility is not the kind of responsibility you start seeing tangible results immediately. A lot of feasibility will need to be done for the kind of demands Southeasterners are making. They will want gas pipeline. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria made a request during the stakeholders conference that they want gas, they want energy for their factories and industries. Some other people come up and say, okay, we want rail line around the Southeast. How do you don't just start digging the ground and start laying rail tracks. There are places you cannot put rail tracks. There has to be proper study. Before the Lagos Rail project rolled out, it took years of planning. People should Google these things and see it. It's not, you don't just say, I want rail between Enugu and Abakaliki and you lay it at the middle of the road. It can't work. It needs a lot of planning, a lot of feasibility study, a lot of environmental impact assessment before it comes on. So it's just that they just see a young man and they want to just get at him. Everybody, just get your pound of flesh from Mark. I don't know what this is about. I feel a bit enraged about it.
So as someone who closely monitors public accountability, what specific transparency frameworks should have been built into the SCDC from day one to prevent these kinds of spending anomalies?
I think that the reason why this is happening is that they are still at the stage where a lot of consultancy is being done. He wouldn't do the job from the moon. He needs an office. I do not know how real estate goes in Abuja, but I mean, obviously he's going to explain how much they have spent, if they rented a house, he needs to explain that. And I'm repeating again, I'm not here saying that the SCDC shouldn't answer for how they have spent money. But I'm saying that if you already know what's going on within the SEDC, why do you come on national TV and sound like, I'm trying to be the good guy here? And that's just the point I'm making. And let it be out there, nobody has been found guilty of anything. They are doing their normal oversight. For instance, if you bought this laptop for, say, 100,000, someone can question it and say, well, I can get it on eBay for 60,000. It becomes a tug of war. This phone now, someone says, okay, you got it for maybe 500,000. Someone says, wow, I can get it down the road at 250. It becomes an argument. What do you prove? So he needs to prove with the paperwork that, okay, the monies they are spending are tallying with the realities of the time. He needs to do that. But what I'm speaking against is this constantly putting the young man in the eye of the storm unnecessarily. And I'm asking again, why is the Southeast Development Commission the only commission that is always under scrutiny? That's my point. Why are they always the one under scrutiny? We have other development commissions. You don't hear anything. So why is the Southeast Development Commission always under scrutiny from the very institution that should actually guide them to succeed? They are getting a lot of Poseidon Sea turbulence from the very agency or institution that should be guiding them. The last time it was Senator Nwoye, who would not just everywhere, you should have built this, you should have built that. It just didn't sound right. Something is just wrong. If they don't want the guy there, they should say it. All this moving around the subject is a bit funny.
So if we look at the opportunity cost of 16.6 billion naira, what kind of tangible infrastructural impact could the money have made for local businesses and traders across the Southeast?
You know that for the longest, recently, I think about a couple of weeks ago, the Southeast Development Commission rolled out what they call the Southeast Venture Capital. Some people, gave pitches. They had a pitch competition, and people won these seed funds to actually get their businesses off the ground. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what people really need. I don't know. Maybe Mark should come and stand at Ogbete and be handing out 100,000 to people. I don't know what our people want. I think we need to bridle our expectations of institutions that are saddled with the responsibility of developing Southeast. That is an unrealistic level of expectation. The governor says, we did this, we did that. You go under the post, you start insulting him. Tomorrow, you will become a governor. The cycle continues. We are creating something that is not nice in this region. Everybody attacks everything without reason. Because they just said, hey, it's like they said they stole money. You start saying, yes, they stole money, they are thieves. Nobody listens and actually finds out what exactly is going on. You just want to jump on the trend because it's on everybody's page. You want to join. You want to get the views. You want to earn the money from Facebook and all that. So people should pay attention to the kind of things they are putting out, how they are using the things they are writing to malign people. Because that's what I've seen. I've read a lot of junk about this. Everybody now have an opinion about the character of Mark. Even people who have never met him. Even people who have never done business with him, and suddenly, because Ojukwu sounded like God yesterday, and suddenly Mark is now a devil.
Okay, so moving forward, how do we rebuild the trust of the Southeastern people in this commission so that it does not just become, another bureaucratic black hole?
It is.
for the public fund?
The Southeast Development Commission is a bureaucracy. It's a bureaucracy. It's under the purview of the Federal Ministry of Regional Integration. I think I've just forgotten how it's said, but they are under the purview of a particular ministry. So, Federal Ministry of Regional Development, that's what it is. So, you find a situation where I go back to unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations, you want Mark to build hospitals. That's what the governors are building. You want Mark to build schools. That's what the governors are supposed to do. Because clearly, he needs, or the SEDC must steer clear of the things the governors are